Mayor and Alderman workshop for October 30th, 2025. It's 5:30. This will be for the November 4th, 2025 regular meeting. I'll call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum. Tuesday night's prayer will be by Alderwoman Hobbs. The pledge will be by Mayor Cole, which I want to say Mayor Cole cannot be with us. He may or may not be here later. He is actually in Murfreesboro, doing some really good business for our city. Our first order of business Tuesday night will be to approve the minutes. But before we get started, we do have one speaker. That is Mr. Chuck Isabel. If you'll come to the podium, sir, give us your name and address. You'll have 3 minutes.
All right. Thanks for having me. My name's Chuck Isabel. My address is 118 Oakmont Drive here in Laverne. And I was going to talk about Halloween safety since Halloween's tomorrow. If I can start with a small story first. 5 years ago tonight, I had Nate. He was 13, and my granddaughter, who was 3, and we were carving pumpkins. And we watched the movie, and less than 24 hours later, he was gone. And what I would like to do is remind everybody that's leaving work tomorrow or going about to keep in mind that children will be out. Go slow, be safe, but also for the parents to hug their children and tell them they love them, because they never know when things will go bad. And the last 5 years has been hard for me and my family, but we've pushed through it, and over the last 5 years I've increased my presence here in the city, but also being a safety advocate for this county and the state. And got to talk about it a little bit this week, but I've got legislation being brought up next session for the super speeder law. Channel 2 did a story on it. You can look it up or see it on my Facebook, and I talk a little bit about it. But we need to have accountability for these drivers and the things that happen in the county and the state as well. And there's another law coming up called Jimmy's Law, which is mandatory sentencing for hit-and-run drivers. And if you don't know about that, I'd advise you to look it up and see about it. And again, just, remind everybody to be safe tomorrow, as it is that time. And thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. That's good advice. Next, we have some fine folks from the Child Advocacy Center that would like to talk to this board. So if you, whoever's going to come up and speak, or if the group is, or I know this young lady. How are you? Just tell us your name and address.
I'm Sharon DeBoer, and I work for the Child Advocacy Center, and our office is located in Murfreesboro. And I have these to give out. And
sure, go ahead.
And Mayor Cole told us that we needed 5 copies of these. Do we need more than 5?
You talking about just for the... Who all needs one, Bruce?
Board members primarily, and mine will be plenty.
Okay, and we'll make sure that Mayor Cole gets one.
Thank you. I'm Sharon DeBoer. I'm the founding director of the Child Advocacy Center, and I've been employed there for the last 25 years. And it has been my pleasure to serve children in our community. And when we first got started at the Child Advocacy Center, the very first one of the municipalities that supported us was the City of Laverne. And you all have been so supportive for so long, and we have been blessed to have work every day with wonderful officers from Laverne Police Department. And we're going to start this afternoon with Jennifer Gamble from our staff, and she has been our Family Services Coordinator, working with children and families for the last 20 years.
Hi, everybody. Like she said, I'm Jennifer Darnell. I'm the Family Services Coordinator at the Child Advocacy Center, and my job is to support children and families through their process of child sexual abuse. I work primarily with the parents and give them education, set up child forensic medicals for children to have their bodies checked out, advocate for children to have counseling, and sometimes also get their parents into counseling too. So I'm just extra support throughout the process. And then my coworker is here, Miss Evelyn. She is also does my job, but she's also a forensic interviewer for us. So she talks with the child. So she'll talk about her job. Go ahead.
So, good afternoon. My name is Evelyn Gillian. I am the bilingual family advocate and bilingual forensic interviewer. So I do the same thing that Jenny does, both in Spanish and English. But as a forensic interviewer, we are usually the one talking with the children, asking those questions that no adult wants to ask to children, of course, in a non-accusatory and non-leading manner. We are in the room with the child. It is a safe and comfortable space for them to disclose their side of the story. And the interview just helps reduce trauma so they are able to tell their story. It also helps children heal from what they've been through in a safe and comfortable space. And it empowers the child just because they are able to tell that story of themselves. And it also ensures that there is accuracy while talking with them because of that unbiased and non-leading questions that are being asked. But we do provide that both in Spanish and English. We also work hand in hand with Department of Children's Services and law enforcement. So there's another coworker named Marian. Her and I, we go out there and provide that interpretation services if needed as well. That's it.
The very first step in the process when a parent finds out that their child has been physically or sexually abused is that report goes to Department of Children's Services. And we have Christina Moody and Jennifer Head from Department of Children's Services here, and they are probably two of the most outstanding Department of Children's Services workers in the state of Tennessee.
Good evening. My name is Christina Moody. I work with the Department of Children's Services. I have been with the agency for 22 years.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Head. I'm a team coordinator with DCS as well. I've been with the department for almost 15 years now.
So all of our referrals go through our child abuse hotline, which is located in Nashville, Tennessee. Once the referral is made to our child abuse hotline, the referral is sent to the county of jurisdiction, which will be here in Rutherford County. We service Laverne, Smyrna, Murfreesboro City, County, Eagleville. That's all the areas that we serve. Once we get the referral, we work closely with a detective that is assigned. For here would be Laverne. And also we work with the Child Advocacy Center. We work together to go out on the referral. Also, we set up a forensic interview for the child to where the child can only be interviewed one time versus having to go at the DCS office or at the police department. So they go to a safe place where they can disclose whatever abuse that has happened to them at a child-friendly environment, which is the Child Advocacy Center. We meet once a month where, as a team, we collaborate on how we're going to move forward with the case. And it's called our Child Protective Investigative Team, which consists of the police department, the DA, the Child Advocacy Center. Our kids is where we have our kids medically examined. And also with DCS, we sit around at a table and we discuss, are we going to prosecute this case? Are we going to implement services in a home? We discuss the next steps as a team of what we're going to do with the case. And also we utilize our Child Advocacy Center. Some of our families speak Spanish. So we utilize the Child Advocacy Center for that as well to assist us with our Spanish-speaking families.
I believe that and I'm not just saying this because I work here, but I believe that our CIPIT team, which is so important within the county, and with our Child Advocacy Center, are probably one of the best in the state. I began with Rutherford County as an intern when I was at MTSU, and so they were my introduction into why they are so important and how to do things correctly. I've been with the Rutherford County office since 2020. Before that, I was in a different unit that floated around Middle Tennessee. So I've dealt with a lot of CACs. I've dealt with a lot of different SIPP partners. And this one is by far the most successful, I feel like, in terms of prosecutions and going in and getting the charges for these children, getting that win for them, but also just the collaboration that we have. And I feel like that we owe it to our children in Rutherford County to be able to service them in a place that makes them comfortable, that is able to be a kind of a one-stop shop instead of them having to go to multiple places. So I just wanted to say that just to let you know that I feel like this SIPP team deserves what they need.
Thank you.
We are very blessed in Rutherford County because we have outstanding law enforcement. And David Durham is going to come up and speak next. And he has done an outstanding job, particularly on our cases for years. And we're very grateful for that.
Thank you so much. I guess most of y'all know me. I'm Lieutenant David Durham. And as you can see, we all work together as a team to get some positive reinforcement back in the world that's rough for these children. So we interview the suspects and get with this team and do our best to get some justice served. The best thing I can say about this is all these advocates and police, we work together, and we try to send a powerful message in our community. Children are not just our responsibility, but a shared mission. So thank you.
Ever since we started the Child Advocacy Center, one of the strongest components we have had has been our district attorney's office. They have done an outstanding job making our community safe for our children. Jennings Jones is the District Attorney General for the 16th Judicial District.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jennings Jones. I'm the District Attorney for Rutherford and Canton counties. We're here tonight for the Child Advocacy Center. As y'all are well aware, child physical and sexual abuse in this jurisdiction has grown with the population, and the population has skyrocketed. The CAC, as you've heard, DCS and law enforcement first come into contact once an abuse case is reported. That case is investigated by law enforcement, and DCS, but one of the most important factors in the prosecution of a child physical or sexual abuse case is going to be the forensic interview performed by the Child Advocacy Center. The forensic interview is different from having a detective, a normal detective interview a suspect. When you have an adult that is interviewed by a detective, it's in an adult fashion, and the detective is going to ask very uncomfortable questions and will put that suspect to the point. With a child, when you're interviewing a child victim, you cannot do that. If you interview a child in the same way that you interview an adult, you will unintentionally fashion the way that interview will go, and you may lead the child to agree with you or to disagree on certain things unintentionally. So a forensic interviewer, the forensic interviewers provided by the CAC, perform that service. They're certified. They are required to go through certain licensing and certification procedures each year. And they do those interviews in a fashion that allows them to be introduced into court and used against a defendant without having to have the child do the whole interview there on the stand. And it's those interviews that allow us to be very successful in our prosecution of child physical and sexual abuse cases. So I guess the long and short of what I'm saying is that the CAC is an absolutely foundational part of my office's success in prosecuting those cases. And right now, the CAC is in need of some help. It's in a building that is, let's say, easily half the size of what it needs to be. Maybe it might be a quarter of what it needs to be. And the CAC is attempting to build some space. The CAC is a requirement by the legislature. By statute, the jurisdiction is required to have a CAC. Unfortunately, the legislature, in their wisdom, has not seen fit to provide certain funding. And part of the funding that the legislature does not provide is for the construction of a building that will hold the CAC. And in order to get that funding, we're coming to each of the jurisdictions, whether it's the sheriff's department or each of the cities. We're coming to each agency that receives the services from the CAC, and we're asking for some help in raising the funding that is necessary in order to build a new house, a new home for the CAC. So I hope that you'll listen with open hearts, and I hope this is well received, because we certainly need your help.
Now I have the pleasure of introducing retired District Attorney General Bill Whitesell. He is the co-chair of our capital campaign.
Hi, my name is Bill Whitesell, and I'm the retired district attorney. And the CAC, the Child Advocacy Center, was founded because I visited another district attorney in Clarksville, Tennessee, and he said, "I want to show you my Child Advocacy Center." And I said, "What's that?" And he had 2 rooms in his office. They were full of stuffed animals and things like that. And I said, "Why do you do this?" He said, "We want a place where a child can feel like a child, not in the principal's office," and I've been there before and it wasn't very pleasant, not in the police department because you think you're there because you've done something wrong, but a place where a child can open up and tell what terrible things have happened to them. Vice Mayor Coe had the privilege, and he was gracious enough to visit our facility a few months ago.
Vice Mayor, no.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, don't call me Cole.
I said no.
Okay. I want to make sure. I want to make sure.
I thought I heard Cole.
I'm not real smart, but I can read your name.
I just want to be afraid I didn't look like it.
Yeah. No, I recognized you when I walked in. But I remember what you said after you heard the presentation there, which was a little bit more lengthy than here. You said, "You don't have to convince me anymore." And I want to tell you, we're trying to raise money to have an adequate facility. We started out in the old Murfreesboro Medical Center in an abandoned doctor's office. I think there were 2 offices. That's now the Murfreesboro Police Department. They hired another doctor. Guess what? We had to get out. The city of Murfreesboro was nice enough to let us move into the Board of Education building. We had about 2 offices there for a while. And then, of course, time for us to move because they needed the space. Fortunately, there was an abandoned fire hall on Salem Pike in Murfreesboro, and we moved in there. And we were there for about 20 years. And the city of Murfreesboro furnished that for us. When they decided it was time to tear that fire hall down, we rented offices in Dr. Jim Garner's medical building, which is located near the police department about a block away in Murfreesboro. We're in about 1,800 square feet. We don't have the office space for all of our employees, which are 15, I believe, to have a desk to sit at. The police officers, when they come to view the forensic interview of the child, they have to go out to their car to write a report because there's not space for them to do it inside that office space that we have. We have identified that building, and Dr. Garner is taking a new role with another medical business, and that building is going to be for sale. And he has offered it to us, so we've identified a location. We're in the process of trying to raise money. Right now, we roughly have around $2 million in gifts and pledges. And I want to make this point. The Murfreesboro, not the Murfreesboro, but the Rutherford County Court is what we used to call it, but the county mayor and the commissioners have designated $1 million and set aside to give us, provided we meet certain conditions. Number one, they want to see that we've made progress, and we have. Number two, they want to see support from the other municipalities. And as Sharon said, Laverne has always supported us, and we're grateful for that. The city of Murfreesboro has always supported us. We've appeared in Smyrna. Hopefully they're going to do the same thing. But I think it will be integral in doing that to show that we have support from all our entities in the county. I want to say I don't like to beg for money, but we are a unique nonprofit in that we provide services that otherwise the other governmental entities would have to provide if you want to have successful prosecution of child sex abusers and physical abusers. And all of the officers, all of these people are trained to do this type of work. Over the years, when I was trying a case, we were back in the pen and pencil era, and paper, we had to write all our notes. Now I see you have tablets. Now it's a good thing I retired because I don't know much about that. But I'm using that as an example to show how far the prosecution of child abuse cases has come since I started in 1980 in the district attorney's office. When we tried those cases, it was the child's word usually against the defendant's word. And if the defendant was a family member or a next-door neighbor, usually the defense was the child's making this up. They just got mad at me because I wouldn't let them have a candy bar, something like that. We've come a long way. These forensic interviews are accepted universally now as evidence. And many times it may not even require the child to appear in court because they are recorded and videotaped and played before a jury. And I will say the success rate of our prosecutions has risen tremendously since I started in that office. So we're here asking for your help. We have children from your city that have been and will continue to come to the Child Advocacy Center until one day we're put out of business. And I don't think I'll be around when that day comes, but hopefully it will. And I want to thank you for your time tonight and your support in the past and taking the time to let us appear before you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Now, do you all have any questions for us? Because we're a very transparent organization, and anything you want to know, we're happy to answer.
Y'all have any questions? So you know me, I'm the mouth of the South. And the gentleman's right. I did come down there, and I'll tell you all, if you ever can get a chance to go down and talk to some of these folks, and Lieutenant Durham especially, some of the stories that they told me about some of the cases with these children, me being a dad and a grandparent is astonishing. I can't believe it, and I can't believe that people. I feel a little bit nervous talking in front of this young man here. The way some of these families treat their children, it's crazy, and I don't mind calling it out. It's drugs, it's molestation, it's just everything. And when you sit and listen to these guys, so and I think the last time I was down there, you all were pretty much going through this same thing, still trying to raise money, and he answered one of my questions. So you're up to like $2 million.
Yes. Actually, as of today, Smyrna Ready Mix is making a contribution of $250,000. So we're at $2,250,000.
Good for Michael. He's a good guy. So, and I'm assuming the commission is seeing that you're making progress. So, because I seen that meeting, I actually seen where you were there talking about that, and I didn't know anything about this program actually until I went down there and got firsthand. And for us here as the city, I would have to say that if we did anything at this time of year, it would have to be an amendment. We would definitely have to get with finance. We'd have to get with Bruce, discuss it amongst ourselves, and so on and so forth. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm just one person. If there's any way we can do anything, I feel like we certainly will.
And there are two ways that you can give. You can give, we're wanting to purchase this building after the first of the year, and you could give to the building, and then if you wanted to give in next fiscal year to the renovations, you could do that too. We're trying to raise enough right now to buy the building, to be candid, but we're also going to need funding for renovations.
I only have one more question, and I know all these Tennessee fans want to know this. Are you any relation to the head coach of Alabama?
No, thank goodness.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. We appreciate y'all's consideration of our request. Thank you.
All right. So we will continue with our department reports on Tuesday, and then we will be voting on old business. Second reading, ordinance 2533, an ordinance to amend Title 9, Chapter 8, Section 9-8033 of the Laverne Municipal Code regarding the location of adult businesses. Anybody have any questions? And then we will move on to the consent agenda. Let me pull my thing up here instead of reading. 6A, this item will award the bid, approve the contract by the construction of Blair West Extension Roadway Project, including utilities and roadway construction. It looks like the total is going to be $9.2 million. Any questions about that? 618, pretty much the same thing. This is involving the Blair West. Is that right? No, I got to go on, don't I? 6A. There we go. 2. This item is to ratify the emergency purchase of 2 servers for the local government system. I guess this is where we got slapped with this cybersecurity thing. Apparently, the mayor had to go ahead and sign an emergency approval. Is that correct, Bruce?
Well, we went ahead and approved the purchase. It was $10,318. So it really didn't have to come before this board, but because it was an emergency purchase, it was not budgeted and planned for. We have to ratify that purchase in front of this board.
And is that a one vote thing?
Yes, it's on the consent, so it would be under one vote.
Okay. Approve the change order number 3 and 4 with Solomon Builders for the Brookside Park construction project. This was something I had questions for about. It's quite a bit of money. So I asked Gary if he's already up here.
He's ready.
If he would come up here and talk a little bit about why that jumped up so much.
Okay, well, the big part of construction where change orders happen is the earthwork, and this project is mostly earthwork. So they got into the digging of it and found some rock, and that was pretty straightforward, about $9,000. But they had a geotechnical engineer involved, and the geotechnical engineer looked at the soil they had, said, probably will work, give it a try, which is what their contract said they were supposed to do. They tried, and it failed. So we got it all the way up to right under where the aggregate's going to go for the pavement, and they proof rolled it, and it failed. So this is the cost of having to repair the soil to get it to be able to support the asphalt. And it's called an unforeseen condition because there was no way to figure it out until they started digging. And it is a significant cost because, again, this is a primarily earthwork project, so it's a significant percentage of the overall work.
And that money's in the budget?
Kinda. So let me explain this to you so you understand. Kinda. The budget, y'all budgeted about $90,000 for playground equipment. This is the playground equipment money that's getting moved over into the build the parking lot money. So next budget year, you're going to have to do $90,000 if you want playground equipment out there. So this project now is going to stop with the asphalt parking lot and the end of the greenway and the sidewalks.
I guess my common sense wants to ask, with today's modern technology, they didn't figure all that out until after they found it. There wasn't no way for them to, I don't know if X-ray is the right word or not.
No, a geotechnical report. Now, the designer made the decision on a small project like this not to do a geotechnical report. And the reason that was a valid decision by the designer is a geotechnical report punches holes. And it doesn't tell you what's between the holes. So you have a little thing at the back of the report that says, this report is only good for the 6 inches where the hole was. Everything else is, your guess is as good as mine. I'm rephrasing that, but that's basically what it says in all engineering doublespeak. So really, this type of stuff, the odds the geotechnical report would have caught it all is negligible. So they made the decision to keep our front-end costs lower, and then hopefully this wouldn't happen, but it did.
So next year, basically, we got to try and come up with $90,000
to replace this money and get the playground equipment. Yes, sir.
All right. Anybody have any more questions for Gary? I was just curious about that. Thank you, sir. Item 6C is approve a 3-year renewal for the Dayforce system for human resources. I guess Andrew needs that.
Yes, sir.
Any questions? 6D, approve an administrative services agreement with Mission Square Retirement. This is pretty much exactly what it says. I guess the employees need to keep going and we can do the retirement. Approve a memorandum understanding the volunteer behavioral health care system to assist law enforcement in responding to behavioral health crisis situations. That's for the police department. I guess that's pretty important, ain't it, Chief?
Yes, sir, it is.
6F, approve a license agreement for installation and maintenance in the right-of-way with Flock Group Incorporated, doing business as Flock Safety for the installation operation of maintenance of Flock services. Any questions about that? 6G, approve amendment number 2 to the professional services agreement with Lamb & Associates, LLC for the development of construction plans, contract documents, and construction administration for relocating the City Administrator, Finance, Human Resources, and Public Works and Community Development Facility. Basically, we want to get them out of here. Is that about what it says, Bruce?
In a nutshell, yeah.
Will that 1.8 million, is that to finish that out there at the building?
Thank you.
Oh, Gary back up here again.
And it's more good news. We are trending high on that. The assumptions that I made for the 1.8 as we got through the programming process, they were short-sighted. So the areas that we're planning are bigger, more people are moving, and some other items within the Public Works and CDS building are being addressed at this time. So honestly, when we get to the end of it, at the end of next year, it'll probably be closer to $3 to $4 million. Figured I'd go ahead and tell you now.
Well, we appreciate that. We'll get Andrew's family to pay for that. All right, 6H, approved membership agreement with National Testing Network for standardized testing services for the police department. Approved membership with national testing. That sounds pretty cheap, Chief.
It is cost effective, sir.
That's what we like. You need to get back there and sit next to Gary.
Then the price is going to go up.
Well, no, you need to learn him. 6I, approved grant contract with State of Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security for the provision of police traffic services highway safety project. City will be reimbursed up to $25,000 to conduct these operations. Did you hear what I said, Gary? Reimbursed? Yes, sir. All right. 6J, ratify the approval of subscription agreement with Ramp Business Corporation of Automated Financial Management and Purchasing Services. I did not understand this when I read it. Danielle, can you help me with that?
Yes, sir. It's to automate the AP payments for vendors and to automate the purchasing requisitions, POs, and so we won't have to write as many checks. And so it's a third party, so it's on their network also.
So they can get their money faster.
Correct.
All right. Thank you. Any questions? 6K, approving agreement with Celtic Bank to utilize the Ramp Purchasing Card Program. I guess that's pretty much the same thing, or is that oh no, that's legal term stuff.
Well, Danielle can speak to actually the substance of what it is, but we have requested 2 or 3 changes to that agreement. So we got an email, I think, last night from the vendor stating that she was using a different bank, and so there was a new agreement we had to review today. We have requested, I think, 4 changes to be addressed. We understand she's going to ask to see if they can be addressed. So we don't have a response back yet, but we should by Tuesday.
So if we don't have one by Tuesday, then this will be removed.
Well, it may be just something where I come to you like I've done in the past and say they won't alter these terms. I can't approve the terms as written, but it's not my call whether or not you ultimately enter into it. So it may look like that too. We just don't know yet.
All right.
My understanding is that they have heard from the bank, and the bank is not willing to make those changes. However, they work with many other municipalities across the country. This is their standard language. We've had this before in other situations, like what Evan stated. It just doesn't meet our specific requirements, state requirements, like Evan said. So it's up to this board as to whether you want to do that. Our goal for using this program is that it would work with that Ramp purchasing system hand in hand for these purchasing cards, and would make it a lot easier as far as making those type of purchases. But Danielle can obviously speak to that better than I can.
Yes, it would replace the current credit cards, and so it's more robust. When I say that, it's where it's in real time. So, say for example, like for right now, if someone needed something, I would receive a text message, say they were at the store, to approve it right in real time. It's also where the documentation to support that transaction is in real time also, where the receipt is attached to it, or by the vendor or by the individual. so it makes it a one-stop kind of shop. The University of Tennessee, they just did a big rollout with it also, so you can go to their website, either RAMP or UT. So they've established that partnership, so they're establishing their presence in Tennessee right now.
Bruce, when you're sending out these agendas, why can't you put it in dummy terms like that so I can understand it?
I don't write all of the summary sheets, so.
Any questions?
So the legal part of it is, can you explain a little bit more on what you're questioning? Is it risk averse or?
No, yes, ma'am. I'm happy to do that. So, for example, one of the issues is the agreement says it's governed by the law of the state of Utah. We're not in Utah. We're in Tennessee. And so all the protections that municipalities have in Tennessee, we have all sorts of immunity and protections under the law here. We would be forfeiting all of those and be governed by the law of the state of Utah at that point. So we have an issue with that. The agreement has an indemnification clause in it, which means that we would be responsible for paying that vendor in the event there was a lawsuit and they tried to blame it on us, that we'd be responsible for their attorney's fees and would have to hold them harmless. That's a big exposure that we wouldn't have if it were governed by Tennessee law. So there are things like that, and as Bruce has mentioned before, all this means is I can't sign off on this as your city attorney, but ultimately whether or not you enter into the agreement is up to you. You may, and you have been before, faced from time to time with having to enter into agreements for a product that is needed, but that may not comply in terms of what I can be okay with. Whether or not you take that risk is up to y'all.
Interesting.
And this is in the consent agenda. So, if we agree on the whole consent, should it be pulled out from the consent?
I guess it'll depend on if they get everything they're looking for. If not, then it'll have to be.
Well, Bruce apparently just got alerted that the bank is not going to agree to the changes that we requested.
Yeah, we got a response this afternoon from the representative at RAMP, and I'll read it if you'd like. It says, our banking partners work through program managers to deliver their banking services to thousands of clients. As a result, they take a firm and standardized approach across all customers and do not amend their terms for individual programs. Celtic Bank works with numerous public sector entities as well, and this has not been an issue before. We have no flexibility to amend the bank's terms. However, all terms in our control, the RAMP terms, we have been flexible and able to amend so as to comply with Tennessee state law as requested. So basically they're saying that the Celtic Bank is not willing to make the changes, but it's kind of standard practice when it comes to that type of a situation.
I guess we'll find out the alternative Tuesday.
Well, if the board wants to move this out of the consent agenda and under new business, we can do that. I just have to have that request, and then, we can vote on that as a separate item on Tuesday night.
First Chair, I think it'd be a good idea to do that.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I think that'd probably be best.
Sorry to be so long. I knew there was more to the story, and people kept fishing, so.
Sure.
All right, number 6L, approve the economic impact plan for Twinning Station mixed-use development. Being Mayor Cole is not here, I'm going to turn this over to Alderman Coates.
Yes, so you can see in your packet the agreement that's been put together by several state attorneys and our attorney as far as the Economic Development Board for the City of Laverne. As you can see, what's required by the state is that the Industrial Development Board of Rutherford County must approve this, which they have done, and then the Bowman Board needs to approve it as well as the County Commission. So there's 3 signatures needed, and one's already been secured. It needs to come to us for our ratification, then it goes on to the County Commission for their approval as well. Any other further questions, I'll take them.
So the county, us, and who else?
The Industrial Development Board of the county.
The IDB board.
The IDB board for the county. They've already signed off on it. They've had their meeting and they've agreed to it. We're just the next step in the agreement process.
So all in all, this is saying like the developer gets some sort of reimbursement for the infrastructure
Correct.
surrounding this project. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Any questions? All right, we'll move on to new business. First reading, ordinance 2025-34, an ordinance to amend the City of Laverne zoning ordinance by changing the official zoning map for tax map 15M, Group E, Partial 11. Property consists of approximately 0.60 acres. Property located at 130 Old Walden Road. It is currently R1, low density zoning district. C2 Highway Service Commercial Zoning District. This received an unfavorable recommendation from the planning. Do y'all know where that is over there? Did you go look at it?
So again, as far as the Planning Commission, the unfavourable recommendation was because there's no other zoning in that area that they're proposing to do. That area is primarily, homes, and he was wanting to put a business in there. And we just, as a Planning Commission, we didn't think it was a good fit. There's no other zoning in that area that fits that requirement. So could it be classed as spot zoning? Probably.
Yeah, that's a pretty little...
Glenn, can you pull up the zoning map for that? The colors.
Is it in the packet?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, keep going.
That's it there. So you can see right in the middle there, it's got the highlighted blue around it. That's the property.
Thank you, Glenn.
Any questions?
And there will be a public hearing on this item Tuesday evening.
Okay, there will be a public hearing on Tuesday. Let's see. So we're going to appoint Planning Commission. 1 term is vacant, 2 terms expire. Earl Garvin Jr. and Jim Hessman are the applicants.
We have one more on the next page.
Huh?
We have one more on the next page.
Go to the next page. Yep.
Oh, and Charles Jones. That will be a mayor appointed anyway, won't it?
Yes,
yeah. And then the IDB with 2 applicants, Laura Davison and Mark Molnar, and Brett Windrow. That looks like that's the end of it. So we will move to mayor and alder people's comments. Ms. Hobbs?
I just want to echo what Chuck Isabel was here to say. Just be careful tomorrow evening. Lots of kiddos out there in your neighborhoods. So please drive slowly, pay attention, and have a safe and happy Halloween.
Alderman Coates.
And go with Alderman Hobbs said, just be safe tomorrow and drive safely.
Concur, drive safely.
Hey, you got to wait till I announce you.
Oh, sorry. I'm in timeout now.
Alderwoman Hobbs.
Sorry. I jumped again. I concur with Alderwoman Hobbs and Alderman Coates. I want to say great job to the Parks and Rec. Goblins and Goodies was a huge success. Thank you for putting in the request for good weather to Mother Nature. It was awesome. What? Or did you do that?
No, I did that.
You did that? Okay. Vice Mayor, no, thank you. It's going to be cold. This is our first cold snap for the year, so dress the kiddos warmly as they're out trick-or-treating and having fun. Thank you.
I just want to say, man, I'm glad you folks that's been working on this cybersecurity thing. My goodness, that's been a nightmare. I know Glenn's probably wearing a hat because he ain't got no more hair left. look forward to Miss Donna getting back up. I've had a lot of people wanting to know about that. I know she misses it. And Halloween, of course, but I want to send out the good news to everybody. Remember, Saturday night, before you go to bed, set your clocks back so you'll get that good air sleep. With that, I call this meeting adjourned.